up, my chatterboxes? Sorry for the late review. It's a lot going on this weekend, and I just didn't have time to give it to you guys last night. And to be honest, you guys haven't really been watching them anyway, because my last two reviews have not been doing that well. So, I'm doing this, just for the sheer love of it all. Okay? So, anyway, this is my review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 12, Episode 26. It's the reunion, Part 3. So, let's just get into the messiness of it all. We're talking about, well, actually, the show picks up where it left off at, where Nene done stormed off. She done left. She done closed the laptop. She done left. And they keep being messy by showing the clip, her little notes of her reads. I'm like, all right, it's already been established that she pre-writes her reads. Like, we don't have to keep seeing the images of it. But, I mean, it is funny. So, then you hear the girls, Eva, well, because Andy asks, well, do anybody know, why she stormed off? Do anybody know where she at? What's going on? So Marlo said, well, she was going to text her. And Eva was like, you know what that is. When it's hot, you got to get out the kitchen. She was like, and it's hot right now. So she out the kitchen. Nene do have a habit of, creating controversy, creating a lot of shit going on. And then when things are directed to her and she, and it's a uncomfortable situation, she bolts. We have seen it time and time and time again. And if she's saying she in therapy, she's trying to learn how to, communicate with these women and things like that. You cannot just run away every time a situation get hot. This is the reason for the reunions. We need to be able to hear your rebuttal to these situations. You were involved in these situations. Speak your goddamn piece. And if you got to come off as, a bully, if you got to come off as a bitch, do what you got to do to defend yourself. Point blank, period. This is what the reunions is for. If Kenya can sit on here and sit in the heat, in the fire, you should be able to. Because Kenya had a lot of fucked up shit happen to her this season with her husband. And she's sitting in there. You understand what I'm saying? You should be able to too. That's all I got to say with that. All I have to say with that. Okay, so now they're getting into the Cynthia and Kenya situation. Because as we all watch over, this season, it does seem like Cynthia allows Kenya to walk all over her. So they were asking about the situation that happened in Greece because a viewer had wrote in. Let me back it up. First, they were talking about, did Cynthia feel as though Kenya tried to ruin her engagement announcement? So she said, not at the time that the season was filming, she said, but when she was able to watch it back, she was like, she said, Candy did tell her, so she did know. She was like, so she do feel as though she was out of line for doing it. And Kenya's response was, well, she was saying that she wanted to get married and it was coming and she was so happy about it. And when I found out, I was just happy. So Cynthia was like, well, regardless if she was happy or not, it wasn't her place to do it. And she's absolutely right. Kenya did try to mess it up. She did. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She did. And you know what I mean? Good thing that it didn't, she wasn't able to execute it. But she did try to fuck it up. And that's probably because she was in a bad space with whatever she had going on with Mark. So then they went into the fact that Kenya seems to always, because a viewer had called in and said, Cynthia is not a wine connoisseur or whatever you call it. They said a word on there, but I couldn't remember it. She is just a retailer of wine. She sells wine. No one expect her to know the pairings of, what goes with steak, which wine goes with, cheese. No one's expecting her to do that. I feel as though that will come, over time. Maybe she just wanted to open up a cellar because she like wine. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And she knows she could make money off of it. So the fact that she was pressing Cynthia on, when they were in Greece, it was an issue. And Andy said that it didn't sit well with the viewers, and Kenya said, well, it didn't sit well with her either. She said it started out as a roast. She was like, and then it went a little bit too far. She was like, and she should have picked up the cues of Cynthia being uncomfortable. She didn't. She said but she apologized, and Cynthia she accepted that apology, but nonetheless, it still was wrong on Kenya's part. And then another viewer had said, why are you friends with Kenya and not Nene? Because it seemed like they wanted the same. You just traded one toxic friend to another one. So she said, well, it's not like I go around, Cynthia said, it's not like I go around trying to be friends with assholes. She said, if they didn't have a good heart, I wouldn't be friends with them. I'm like, yeah, because they are two fucking assholes. Two assholes, okay? Oh my gosh. Marlo asked if Kenya wasn't in the picture, do she think that she would be friends with Nene? And Cynthia said no. She said she wouldn't be friends with Nene. She said a lot that has happened. She said, and the difference between Kenya and Nene, Kenya, she's apologized. Nene don't. I think it's just that their relationship has played this course. We have seen years and years and years of Nene not really being that great of a friend to Cynthia. And Cynthia was just like her puppy dog, sucking up, trying to get back in her good graces. And at some point, you get tired of that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you will have to. I mean, even though Cynthia had a full life, she had friends, she had family and things like that. But even if you didn't have all those things, when you have toxic people in your circle or in your, in your circle, in your space, over the years, that should take its toll. And you eventually like, listen, I don't care if I got to be by myself. I don't want that energy around me. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing wrong with that. You outgrow certain people, certain situations. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. So they also touch bases on the cookie lady and things like that, because Kenya was a little pissed off because she kind of took the brunt of it. It comes out that, well, they kind of put Cynthia on the spot, because they said what Cynthia did, because Kenya said that Cynthia the one who, she said certain things she didn't like about Cynthia. She was like, Cynthia the one who, she didn't tell her that she told Tanya. That's number one about the cookie lady. And she didn't know that Cynthia invited the cookie. Well, she said, and she did know because she was there. She said, and Cynthia invited the cookie lady to Brooklyn party, but it kind of made everything look bad on Kenya when things played out that way. But Cynthia never divulged that information. So in this case, Candy kind of held Cynthia accountable for it. She was like, that was more worse than what Kenya did. She was like, because you was going to bring her to Brooklyn's birthday. She was like, with ambush Tanya. She was like, that wasn't cool. So Portia was saying she think that it was on the same level of messiness. The Cynthia and Cynthia did not understand where they was coming from. She said, no, the way I was looking at it, I was cool with Tanya at the time. She said the cookie lady had something to say, so I knew Tanya was going to be there. So I said, well, she going to be there. You can need to say it there. But I don't understand why Cynthia doesn't understand why that it's a time and a place for some shit. Because then she was like, well, how y'all know I wasn't going to tell Tanya prior to it? Let me tell you something. I don't care if you was going to tell Tanya first thing, prior to or whatever. A kid's birthday party ain't a place to be confronting nobody. Period. Period. I wish a mother effer would come to one of my kids' parties and start some grown up BS. No. No. We're not doing it. We ain't doing it. So Cynthia was wrong, and so was Kenya. That's my point of the matter. They both were wrong. So they got into why not Candy, Kenya and Nene are such at odds. and he was trying to get to the root of it as to why it started out. He asked Candy. Candy was like, it's been going on so long. She honestly have no idea. And Cynthia said the same thing. She said she don't even remember. She was like, it's just something that's, that is happening, and no one really can get to the root of why. So Kenya said that Nene is just irritated by the mere presence of her. She was, and because Andy had made a point, he was saying, because viewers had wrote in questioning about this, like why didn't she want to accept Nene apology when she was trying to extend the olive branch in Greece and things like that. So Kenya never thought anything was sincere when it came to Nene. She was like, Nene like just never liked her. She was like, it was all the front. She was like, Nene didn't even want her on the show. So he said, it's kind of odd that you say that. He said, because he, meaning Andy, he was like, because even when you weren't on the show, Nene was advocating that you should be on the show because you made good TV. You were a good fit to the show. And Kenya was like, well, that's kind of odd for her. Like I said, she says, because she never even wanted me on the show, period. So, I don't know. I think with those two, I mean, y'all help me out with this. I think with those two, they just like oil and water, and we all know that shit don't mix. So I think they so much alike in their personalities, like they cannot. Those two will never be friends, like because they so much alike in those personalities, and they have like dominant personalities where they have to be friends with like a Cynthia or someone. Or like a more neutral person is in Candy. But for some reason, Nene can't stand Candy. And I don't know if Nene have jealousy in her heart. I don't know what the issues is. But I don't know. Kenya did reveal that because Andy had questioned, well, Nene was, apologizing and things like that to you. Did you ever, extend the olive branch to her and send, your well regards or check on her, during the time when Greg was going through his cancer? And Marlo was like, no. And she was like, who said no? So she was like, I did. And she said, and I have the text messages to prove it. She said, Nene never reached out to her, and she never responded back to, her texts. She was like, and she had to say, like, listen, she not for me. And, I mean, I don't know, like, because they showed text messages, because they asked Kenya about, because a viewer had wrote in about that, because Nene, on the show, she had put out that she had sent Kenya a text, like with Kim Porter that passed and Nipsey Hussle passed, and, she kind of wanted to, like, restore some friendships, so she sent Kenya a text message, and Kenya never responded. So a viewer wrote in and asked about that, and we find out on this that Kenya said she ain't receive them because Nene was blocked. I'm like, that damn Kenya is a damn mess. She is a mess. So I'm sorry. I just get a little kiki when it comes to Kenya, because Kenya, she is a goddamn mess. She said she didn't want to receive the information. She didn't care. She was like, because why would I accept the her extending the olive branch when it's wrapped in poison ivy? She was like, she don't trust her. And at this particular point, we see where she's staying. Nene, I hope Nene in that place where she like F it too. You know what I mean? Like, if it's gonna be, it's gonna be. If it's not, it's gonna not. I'm not forcing no one to be my friend. I think they just need to understand that they're not, friends, and they never will be, and move on. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. So a viewer wrote in, to the show and was saying, I forgot exactly what it's saying, but they were getting into the fact that, how, Kenya always, provoke people and then act, shocked when, people respond to it. Let's move off of that real quick. So Andy had asked her, he said that Nene said that she didn't spit on you. So Kenya said, I didn't say Nene spit on me. I said she hawked up spit and did the motion as if she was going to spit on me. She tried to, tried to lunge at her and things like that. So Candy was saying, if I'm sorry, she was like, if she would have did that to anyone other than Kenya on this, show, it would have been a different situation. People would have, it would have been a fight. This is the problem that I have with these girls. You could tell that who they alliances are with. Candy is guilty of it too. Cynthia is guilty of it too, not calling Kenya out on her bullshit. But it seems as though Marlo and Portia is doing the same for Nene. They not really trying to call her out on her bullshit because they were quiet. They didn't have a rebuttal for that. They didn't say shit. They was just looking. You didn't know. They was just standing there looking. So it's like, how y'all call yourself the Real Housewives and y'all ain't even, none of y'all keeping it the fuck real? Because being real is being able to say what you need to say to whomever you need to say it to, regardless if y'all friends or not. Like, come on, y'all too old for this shit. Y'all too old for it. So, and she was, Kenya was saying how disgusting it is, and and things like that. And like I said, the viewer had said, you always provoking people. She was like, well, let's get that straight. What about people provoking me? She said, Marlo, you tried to provoke me when you were saying things about my mother. And listen, they got into the Shamia incident when, Nene and Kenya was about to fight, Kenya says it wasn't, but it could have got, physical at Candy's baby shower. And Candy said it went for like a night of glam to fight night. And it did. They had to call security on them and every goddamn thing. So, even is sticking by that Kenya wasn't trying to provoke Nene. She was just simply trying to get out the moment, get out the situation. Portia and Marlo, they have a different view of things. Portia says she only could see what she saw. She was like, in that moment, she seen that they were all already in a hostile engagement. And for her to walk towards her, she was like, because Nene said, I'm not Shamia. And then she walked towards her. She was like, well, what would you think that someone would want to, do? And I gotta be honest, because Eva and Candy and everybody, well, not Candy, Eva and Cynthia was like, that's not what we're saying. And then they co-signed with Portia. They co-signed what Kenya was saying. But as a viewer, and I know they cut, a lot of stuff out. I know they edit, the way they want, for, attraction and things like that. But from what we saw as viewers, it do look like Kenya was trying to provoke her. It really does. Because if you're in a heated exchange with someone and, and that person come towards you, what would you think? Because we're already in a heated exchange. You would think that they're coming to do some harm to you. That's what I would think. So then Kenya, Portia, she was trying to get her word out and stuff like that. She was like, you wasn't being, genuine. Anyway, she was like, a Shamia, text you and apologize. And you didn't respond. Something she said to her. And then Kenya was trying to hush Portia. Portia was like, you're not going to hush me. She was like, you did a whole Color Purple monologue up there in your square. I was cracking the hell up. Portia has been coming through with like good one-liners, I swear, because even Andy was cracking the hell up. That shit was funny. That was funny. So, because Portia was saying, because I never left the show, honey. I never left the show. She was like, even when I wasn't a housewife, I still had more scenes than you. And Kenya just couldn't do nothing but have like a little smirk on her face. Because listen. Because Andy brought up the fact that, Portia was asked to leave. She ain't leave. Further on in the episode, he did. But anyway, that was really it for that little scene. Like, Portia and Marlo, they defending that, they stance on it is that Kenya was trying to provoke Nene, and the other girl stances that wasn't the case. But from a viewer, I felt as though that she was. That Period. So moving on from that, they bring Yvonne on there to talk about Snakegate. So Yvonne was like, well, I didn't know she wasn't going to be on because she got with that, Nene had left the building. She was like, well, maybe it had something to do with the fact that I posted the picture. I guess she posted the picture that she was, about, to join the show, the reunion or whatever. And, they normally don't bring someone that's not a cast member on the reunions. So this was interesting that they brought her on the reunion. They really was trying to get to the bottom of Snakegate. They really were. So apparently she also said that Eva's husband is her lawyer and defended her against Nene because Nene sent her a cease and desist letter and said, quote unquote, that any recordings that you guys have, we want you to destroy it immediately. End quote. This is from Yvonne's mouth, not mine. So Andy was saying, oh, it's kind of ironic that Michael Sterling is your lawyer. And that's when Eva was like, yeah, my honey works, he works. And you can see Portia rolling her eyes. I don't understand why Portia was so annoyed by the fact that Michael, Eva was, pumping her husband up. Was it that, or was it the fact that he's defending Nene? Like, my thing is, he's a lawyer. He's going to get his checks. Like, no one's saying anything when you want people to go eat the hot dogs at Dennis restaurant. I didn't get where the eye rolls came from. You know what I mean? So, she was saying how her and Nene had, a good relationship at one particular point. She was like, but it wasn't until she started building friendships with the other ladies, and Nene wasn't in a position to, have her in those circles anymore. And that's where sometimes the friction came in between those two. So apparently Yvonne is saying that Nene wanted her to get dirt on everyone, and she wanted her to record it and bring it back to her. She said, now she told Nene that she will record it. She said, but that went against her moral compass. And I'm putting air quotes up when I say this. And she decided that she wasn't going to record anyone, but she let Nene believe that she did. So everybody's kind of conflicted. Like, well, why would she need recordings? Because Portia said, we all went on shows doing interview. Why would she need to she know what we're saying. Why would she need to record that? So she said she just needed for her record, and she wanted everybody to know that she not the only one to be talking shit about everyone, that everybody be talking shit about each other. So Cynthia said, have I talked about Nene? Absolutely. She said, have I talked about Nene when we were friends? She said no. They all talk about each other. That's the premise of the show. So Yvonne coming on here, I don't know what she approved, because even Andy said, how can we prove what you're saying, believe what you're saying is right? We don't know. So she was saying that she had receipts. She even told Portia, you better she said to Portia, she was like, you better understand you need to know if you on the right team or not. She was like, because, she had some shit to say about you too. So apparently Yvonne said that Nene sent her Portia information, I guess, to see what she can get on Portia or things like that. So Portia ain't really buying it. Marlo had said, well, I remember you and Nene was together and y'all called me and you alluded to the fact that you had, a video recording. So Yvonne kind of she lied about that. So the thing is, it all seems suspect. Yvonne, I can't say that I believe her. I really can't say that I believe her. Now, she claims she has receipts. She's yet to have showed them up to this point. So I don't know. I just think that they too old. First of all, they're too old to be in these kind of situations. And my thing is, Nene, you can't keep trying to drag other people down if you already in the hot seat. You are guilty of talking shit about these women. Own it. You understand? You are guilty. Kenya is guilty about doing her mess. Eva is guilty about her little, amnesia episodes. Everyone is guilty of some bullshit. own it and move on. That's it. But when you try to bring someone else into the folds and try, be sneaky and malicious and record, that shit taken it to another level. Because I thought that it was illegal to, I don't know about in the state of Georgia, but with the state that I am, it is illegal to record people without their knowledge. So you got to be real careful with these games that you playing, because you could end up in court. You could end up in the courtroom. So the consensus of the group, because I'm going to speed past this because it's a lot. Like, a lot of people don't believe Yvonne, because Candy, she said she's fickle, so she halfway in, halfway out. So is Portia. Cynthia believes her. Kenya believes her, but of course they're going to believe her. And Tanya, not so much. And Eva, she believes her. And Marlo, she doesn't. So anyway, Candy wasn't really feeling her too. She said, because you proved to be just as big as a snake as Nene in this situation. She was like, because if you were, getting close to us and, befriending us and things like that, and then you were used as a pawn to record, us, she was like, that, that's cool. That's not cool. So she was like, no, to be honest, I got to know you guys after it. So that's when Candy was like, well, that's even worse, because the fact that you were around us and the fact that, you seem to have, taken a liking to us, and then you were going to do that makes it, you more of a fraud. And Candy is right. Candy is right. And Candy was like, that's why I don't like bringing people into my space so quickly, because you're the reason why. You're the type person is the why I feel the way I feel. And I absolutely agree with Candy. You can't just be doing shit and then try to weasel your way out, because now you and the person that you concocted the situation with are no longer friends. So then Nene had called them. Well, she wanted Portia to put her on speaker, but Andy, he kind of shut that down. He was like, listen, it's ridiculous. He was like, she has a computer right there in her square. She want to come, let her get on the square. So everybody was kind of like, listen. So she was trying to interject, because Portia was telling her what was going on, that Ivana was there and things like that. So Nene said that she'll drop her receipts in Portia's mailbox. Come on, grow the fuck up. And that's why everybody was like, we wasting too much time on this. Move on. Cynthia ended up, Eva ended up, because I'm moving past this. Eva ended up apologizing to Marlo, because she said she watched previous interviews that she's done, and she always thought that it was Marlo. Marlo. She was like, and she wanted to apologize for Marlo, because it wasn't. And Marlo said, listen, if y'all going to take me as a friend, take me as a friend that's going to always tell her how it is. I'm not a liar. She was like, I'll accept your apology. She was like, and that's something that I will never do. She was like, she would never record anybody, lie about doing something like that. And they respected that, and they moved on from it. So then they excused Marlo and Yvonne and Tanya, because he wanted to focus on the true housewives of the show. And as they were, leaving, disconnecting, Kenya had to take a jab at Marley, talking about bye Marley. Kenya, cut it out. That shit wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. So, they wrapped it up with, talking about the highs and lows of things that were going on. Well, basically the highs that the housewives was going on. So he was talking about how Eva, she, is doing good. Her and her husband bought a house and things like that. And she said, yes, she was like, whatever the next storm may be, as long as I'm able to weather it with my husband, I'm fine. Okay, now we moving on to, I think it was Kenya. And she said that, baby Brooklyn brings her so much joy. She's so much in love with her, and she's in a good space. Then we got Candy. He was telling her about, you got the family, you got your compound and things she was like, well, life is good, no complaints. She was like, and even throughout the quarantine, they got, closer. She was like, but they still going to take some of the things that they learned during quarantine and adapt that to their real life once we out this situation. So Andy asked how so. She was like, well, eating dinner together and exercising together. So Portia was like, I'm gonna take a note out of that book. Yeah, because those are the things that keep y'all grounded and keep y'all tight as a unit. So Portia was saying how, her family is kind of complete right now. They're in a good space. And as she's saying that, Eva giving a side eye too. Like those two with those side eyes with one another is catching me a little like off guard. Like, what is the real deal between y'all two? What is the real deal? I mean, I know Portia was saying about, she made the comment about her baby and all of those stuff. I don't know. It's kind of like weird. Like, because they were cool at one point. I thought so. So she's in a good place with Dennis, and, she feel like, they're going to progress. Cynthia, she says she's still thirsting for Mike Hill, and she can't wait to be his wife, and that's it. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing else to say. So that's all I have for this, season, because, it's wrapped out. No more Housewives until we come back on. So if you guys like the content, before I even get into that, do you guys, because I haven't been watching the other Housewives franchises, and I know they like maybe 6 or 7 episodes in, but if you guys want me to review, I don't know if I would do both. Let me know if you want me to review New Jersey or Beverly Hills. I'm kind of leaning towards Beverly Hills, but you guys let me know. And don't hold me to the fact that I didn't review it from episode 1. Give me a break, please. Okay, so that's all I have for this episode. If you guys like the comment, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to holler at your girl. Bye.